Hey guys, my name is Mr. Mahmood, and I'm going to be talking to you about a word that you've probably been hearing a lot of lately, and you're definitely going to hear a lot of in the future. That word is mindset. This word basically represents how you approach just about everything you do in your entire life. There are two basic ways to approach anything, and it's represented by the type of mindset that you show. You can either show a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. And what's really ironic is even though this is such an important component of your life and it has a really big effect into the level of success that you can reach and your real potential that you have in front of you, most of you have your mindset because of the people that you've surrounded yourself around for your entire life. You probably have very little to do with your own mindset right now. But what I hope you realize by the end of this is this can change. You can fix your mindset, you can realize what you want, and you can start pushing towards that goal. And you can start making yourself the kind of mindset that you want to be. Let's talk about each one a little bit here. A fixed mindset is based entirely on the idea that everything you have and everything you're capable of is because of your natural ability. You're just naturally good at something. You're just naturally capable at something. You're either good at something the first time you try it, or you're never going to be good at it. When you're in this fixed mindset, it's very hard to believe that you can really get better at something. And because of that, you don't really care much about trying. You don't really care much about effort, because if you're not already good at it, you're not going to get any better at it. The problem is, a lot of you guys have probably been raised to develop sort of this kind of a fixed mindset. Because the biggest thing that you have to understand if you want to move into this other mindset, or what we consider a growth mindset, you have to be able to handle failure well. If you're ever confronted with failure, or you don't do something well the first time, you have to know how to react to it. And if you're in a fixed mindset, you react really poorly. Failure is a very hard thing for you for probably one of two reasons. Either you've never really had to deal with it in your entire life, or you've dealt with it so many times that it's just become an inevitability. You just pretty much expect it to happen. So your job is to basically avoid failure at all costs. You don't like challenges, you don't like trying new things, you don't like obstacles. If anything gets in your way, you're very quick to either quit or try to put the blame on something or someone else so it's not your fault. Unfortunately, people that are in a fixed mindset like this feel entitled. They basically feel like everything's been given to them. They've never really had to try. It's automatically going to work out for them because, again, their parents just do everything they can to make you happy. And this fixed mindset really limits where you can go, really limits what you're capable of, and makes it really difficult to develop this graduation mindset that's really going to set you up for the rest of your life. Now compare that to a growth mindset. If you're in a growth mindset, you understand that failure is inevitable. Guys, it's gonna happen. No matter how much people try to protect you, no matter how much you try to avoid it, you're going to fail at things. Everybody fails at things. It's not whether or not you fail, it's not whether or not you fall, it's how you get back up, it's how quickly you respond, and it's what you do about it and how you learn from that previous failure to get you to the point where you're going to succeed the next time. A growth mindset understands that failure is an opportunity. Failure is a chance to learn and react. And if you can learn from what you did wrong, pick yourself back up and try it again. And this time when you're ready to try it again, you're not going to make that same mistake, so you're automatically going to have a better chance of success. A growth mindset is a graduation mindset, because a graduation mindset never stops. A graduation mindset continues to set goals, continues to reach those goals, and anytime you don't, it doesn't stop you. It makes you work harder, and it makes you react to get yourself where you need to go. But it takes effort. And if you're in a growth mindset, or you're in this graduation mindset, you understand the value of effort. You're not going to get everything you want handed to you. It's not going to happen for the rest of your life. You're going to have to put some effort in, and you're going to have to try. You're going to have to make things happen for yourself and not just expect things to come to you. So if you're not happy with your grade, if you're not happy with what your GPA looks like it might be because of your grades, go talk to your teachers. Your teachers care about you very much. Every single teacher in this building, I promise you, wants you to develop this growth mindset. They want you to have this graduation mindset. They want to work with you, but they're not going to work with you if you're refusing to put in the effort, because that just means you think you deserve a better grade, but you're not ready to do anything about it. Show up tomorrow morning. Show up sometime to tutorials, knock on their door, and ask them what you can do to make your grade better. And if you're happy with the grade, ask them what you can do to prepare better for the next exam. always look to improve. So think about it this way. Imagine we're dealing with basic characteristics of being successful or unsuccessful. What you see in front of you is a basic diagram of successful and unsuccessful characteristics. Let's start by looking at some of the unsuccessful people. Listen to some of these traits and tell me how much of this actually reminds you of you. Unsuccessful people criticize because it makes them feel better about themselves. They hold a grudge. They blame others for their failures because they never want to believe that it's their fault, and they never want to try to learn from any kind of a mistake they might have made. They say they keep a journal, but they really don't, because they want people to think they're doing what you're supposed to do, but they really don't try. They think they know everything. They operate from a transactional perspective, which basically means if there's a problem, you figure out the short fix. You figure out a quick fix or a quick solution just to get you by. But you really haven't solved the problem, and it's going to come back and haunt you later. They secretly hope that others will fail because that makes you feel better about yourself. They don't know what they want to be because they never think ahead. They never set goals. They exude anger. They're just mad all the time. They hoard information and data because they don't want to let anyone else have a chance of being more successful than them. They talk about people because it makes them feel better about themselves and their own insecurities. They fly by the seat of their pants, again, because they don't make plans. They don't organize. They fear change because with change comes a risk, and a risk of failure, and that's a terrifying idea. They watch TV every day because that keeps you from using up that time to actually try to put effort into anything. They take all the credit of their victories because they desperately need any kind of thing to make themselves feel better about themselves. And they have a sense of entitlement. They really feel like they're going to get whatever they want, and effort never has a role to play in it. Does that sound familiar? It sounds a lot like a fixed mindset, doesn't it? These are basic characteristics of unsuccessful people. Now let's take a look at the successful side. Successful people compliment. They listen, they hear, they recognize other people around them that are good at something, and they praise them for it. Successful people forgive others because ultimately they want to keep themselves happy and they want to move on. Successful people accept responsibilities for their own failures because they learn from failure. You can't learn from failure until you recognize that it was your fault and start really paying attention to the reasons you failed at something. Only then can you actually learn from it and make yourself better. They actually do keep a journal because remembering failures that have happened in the past keeps you from experiencing those same failures again. They want others to succeed because their own pride isn't based on the failure of the people around them. They keep a to-be list, which basically means they're planning the rest of their lives and they're really setting life goals for themselves. They set these goals and develop these life plans because without a goal, there's no pathway. You can't get there if you don't know where you're going. They continuously learn. Even if people around them think they're amazing at something, these people always make themselves better. They figure out ways to make themselves better and they continue to improve. They operate from a transformational perspective, which means if there's a problem, they're not just looking for a quick fix. They're not looking for the easy way out. They're going to figure out how to get past the problem so that it never bothers them again. They keep a to-do or a project list because they're always setting goals, whether it's short-term or long-term. They embrace change because, again, change introduces risk, and risk is actually good for successful people. It's good for a growth mindset. It's good for a graduation mindset. They want to make themselves better, and the only way to do that is to put yourself out on a limb and start taking some risks. You'll never improve if you stay exactly where you are. Successful people exude joy because with overcoming obstacles and overcoming failures comes a sense of pride that nobody can explain and no one can describe. You can only feel it. They share information and data because they want their own successes to be just as likely for the people around them. They talk about ideas because they want to make their ideas better. They like criticism. They want to hear people tell them ways to make themselves better. They read every day because you only have one perspective in life. So if you can read about different perspectives, you can really start to take in their experiences and use those experiences for your own future challenges. They give other people credit for their own victories because they understand that nothing is done purely because of their own individual effort. They appreciate that a lot of things that happen in terms of success happen because people work together and there are teams that make things happen. And what I think is the most important, they have a sense of gratitude. They don't believe that things are just going to happen for them. They don't believe that they just deserve everything that they're going to get and they think they're always going to get the best possible scenario. They appreciate what happens to them. They appreciate what life brings to them. And most importantly, they appreciate the effort that they put into something to make themselves succeed. That kind of pride, that kind of gratitude, that kind of ownership is what makes someone successful. So how'd you do? Which of these two groups really hit home for you? You have to know where you are if you want to move. The first step to movement is realizing that you're standing still. If you're in this fixed mindset, or you're acting unsuccessfully, it's okay. You can get better, but you gotta try. Show me the effort. Show your teachers the effort. Show your family the effort. Show your friends the effort. Set yourself up for a growth and a graduation mindset that'll prepare you for the most incredible life you could ever imagine. Take care.